very, very long time. Did I not have audio? I didn't have any audio. I didn't have any audio. See, I knew that everything that possibly could go wrong will go wrong in this live stream. It started from the beginning. So, hey guys, Barcap's on here. We've got a little bit of a latency issue going on, probably about 10, 15 seconds worth of it, of a lag. So this will be pretty interesting. Yeah, I know there's no audio. It's coming. It's coming. But hey guys, it's been a while since I've done any videos on YouTube. Hopefully this will be the start of several live streams, not only here on YouTube, but on Amazon and a couple other websites. So it's going to be fun, interesting setup. And I'll just start this off right away, guys. If you want to ask some ghost questions, feel free to do that. There's some echo and some reverb apparently going on. Let me see if I can figure that out. Hold on one second here. Yeah, let's see if that helps. Okay, I know there's a bit of a delay, so you guys in the chat, tell me, has the reverb stopped? Because I don't have any way to monitor this. So let's see. Does it sound okay now when I talk? What do you think? Yay, nay? There's a little bit of a delay. Let's see. It's going to take a second. The latency is unbelievable. Okay, so I guess the reverb is fine, so that's good. All right, well, like I said, if you guys have questions about ghosts, let's go ahead and get that out of the way right now. But really, this video, I want to focus on computers. I'm going to be doing more of an influencer thing here on YouTube. Maybe we'll do some ghost stuff, some haunting stuff later on, but it's right now more of an influencer oriented, and I want to talk about Macs. So if you got any ghost questions, let's go ahead and put those up there, and we'll start with that, and then I'll move into the other. Yeah, Paranormal Attention kind of didn't take off. My biggest problem, why I haven't done a lot of videos, and this has kind of been the biggest issue, is where I live is out in the middle of nowhere. And we had internet problems like you would not believe for years and years and years. It was almost 10 years. And then finally, I went from having less than 3 megabit service, and this is for download, not upload, to over a gig. So that's kind of changed a lot of this. So I'm able to do live streams now, which is very, very nice. So, but yeah, the Paranormal Attention, it just kind of it floundered because I just didn't have time to do it. So, hey, William, how's it going? All right, any other questions about ghosts before I start proceeding into what this video is really about? And that's about getting a cheap Mac at an affordable price that will involve a little bit of work, and we'll kind of go from there. So I'll just leave it open here for a second. All right. Okay. I think we're probably going to start. Now, I'm more of a Linux guy than anything. I'm actually running all of this on Linux, which is pretty amazing through OBS. I do like Mac. The only thing I don't like about Mac is the prices. And you got to do some comparison on some of the stuff I'm going to be talking about in here, because Mac is a great operating system, expensive hardware. And that's been the biggest problem. And so you can weigh some of these options, and what we're going to do is I'm going to show you how to take, because I like some of the old hardware, to tell you the truth. The Mac Pro 2013, it has they call it the trash can. I think it looks more like an ashtray from the 1970s more than anything. But we're going to show you how to repair this or misconfigured to where none of the guys know how to put the operating system back on it. On eBay, relatively cheap, and some of the prices aren't bad. And this thing still has about 2 years of support on Monterey, which is nice. And if you compare that to, let's say a new Mac, and you do some math, it's actually more affordable just to buy one of these and run it than to buy a brand new Mac. And that's kind of what we're going to do with this. This model itself, let's see. Oh, someone's asking about the haunting. Maybe. We'll see about the haunting. It's kind of one of those series where it kind of maxed out in 2012, and I wanted to end it on a high note, and that's kind of what we did. So, but we'll see. I thought about doing another horror type show, but I don't want to overdo it with a lot of stuff. But anyway, getting back to what I'm talking about on this I picked up for $100 off of eBay. It's got a graphics card problem, and also I want to upgrade the processor. So what we're going to do is, let me go ahead and switch over to the let's do the side camera if we can. And okay, hold on guys, we're having some technical difficulties here. I see what the problem is. Let's bring this over. There we go. All right, sorry about that, guys. We're having this is the growing pains of a live stream. You know it's live because nothing works. So so anyway, I think we're back on now. So I'm gonna take this hat off because I'm getting kind of hot, and as I have gotten older, I cannot see, so I'm gonna have to put on some glasses here. Let's see what you guys may have. Is there a possibility of the haunting series coming back? Yeah, maybe. Yeah, maybe. Like I said, guys. All right. Well, anyway, on this video, I may bore you. I may sound like Bob Ross on a lot of this, but we're going to repair this Mac Pro 2013 that we have here. These models are. Let me flip it around so you can see it a little bit better there. These models, even though they are dated, they stopped producing them in 2018. So they still have I think Apple has a 5-year service plan. So these still have another like year and a half, almost 2 years before they're kind of obsolete. And I mean, this was top tier technology back in 2013, and it's not bad now. It does really well. I actually have refurbished about 4 of these things, buying them off of eBay and redoing them, and they run most everything perfectly fine. Now, the only other option besides doing like this to get a more affordable Macintosh is building something like a Hackintosh, and I'm not going to go over that in this video. I am going to do a video later on, and this will probably be on Amazon, maybe. It may be on YouTube too. I'll try and dual do them if I can. That would be fun and fascinating, won't it, guys? But I'm going to do a high-end computer build with the new Ryzen 7950 processor and upgrade a computer that we already have, and I'm going to triple boot that with Apple, Linux, and also Windows. So that'll be later on, and that's a cost saving. Well, I wouldn't call it a cost saving because you've got some expensive hardware, but this is going to be your most affordable solution for a good processor. And I like the design. That's the thing about Mac. They do things more aesthetically, and this it looks scary at first, but fundamentally it's like every other computer. It just has a different way of putting it together. So what I'm going to do is we'll start off by disassembling this. We'll first replace the graphics card, and then we'll have to really take it apart to get to the processor. The first thing we want to do is we want to make sure it's unplugged, of course, and this one's been unplugged for quite some time. And there's a little button right here on the side, and you'll want to turn that from locked to unlocked, and that will remove the top. Where did I go? Where did I go? I didn't go anywhere. I just haven't made videos in a while. Brooks. I'm still here. And you guys can't hear me, right? The audio is going through. See, I have a person behind the board right now, and they're saying it's working, but it's still a learning experience. So, but I did do videos under I know I didn't do a lot of Mark Absalon stuff, but I did do videos under a different name on YouTube, a lot of kid stuff, but that kind of just went away because YouTube has this natural ability to destroy, or if you start making money, they want to take it away, kind of thing. That's kind of what they do. Anyway, getting back to this, and I'll get sidetracked like you wouldn't believe if you let me. Going back to this, we take off the top, the sheath, and I'll turn it around here so you can kind of see some of the interior. It's got 2 graphics cards, and I know because I've already done a diagnostic on this one, that this graphics card, I think this is B. It's either A or B. I get Macs mixed up, especially on these 2013 models. And let me start off by saying I am not a professional. I tinker, I dabble, I have fun, I break stuff, but 90% of the time I kind of know what I'm doing. So So some of this stuff, if you see something I'm doing wrong, or you see something that you want to correct me on, or an easier way for me to do something, just let me know. I'm all ears. I'm all about learning on this stuff too. So, but anyway, we've got the 2 cards, and let me find this, picked up on eBay a couple of things here. Well, I kind of sidetracked myself. I should have talked about some of this other stuff first, but I picked up we have a connector for the graphics card that is broken, so I'm going to replace that. I think this was like $6 or $7. And then this graphics card, I got this one relatively cheap because it did have a broken top for the SSD card right there. I repaired it myself, so it should be okay. They said the card worked. That was about 6 months ago, so we'll find out. And of course, I have some RAM. We've got thermal paste and a couple other things like this processor here. I should probably back up and start out with some of the tools for this. You're gonna need, thanks Brown, I appreciate that. Great, I'm glad to hear the audio is working. This set, and it's in the description below. I have a link over to my Amazon. It is a pretty amazing tool set for computer repair. And you can also do some cellular telephone repair with it. As you can see, I've used this quite a bit. I've broke a lot of stuff, but it's got a very nice screwdriver set along with shims and everything else. So you can kind of see it on the overhead camera right here, a little bit better. It's pretty affordable. If you're going to do any repairs on a computer or anything electronics, I highly recommend this because I've used it and it's great. So you'll definitely need a kit like this, and we'll get into that here in just a minute. Also, too, you'll need some thermal paste, which I do have a link for that. This is the M.2 paste. I like it. For this type of processor, and along with some of the older hardware I use on servers and stuff, it's pretty ideal. All this stuff's kind of the same. So let's see. Can you see it? You can see it. Let's turn it this way so you can read it. There we go. And I also picked up this server chip. This is the an Intel E5 2697 version 2. And I think I paid like $30 for this. It's either 25 or 30. It wasn't a lot. So the upgrade isn't a small fortune. And the one thing I can tell you to do on eBay is avoid the Mac Pro upgrades for the 2013 because they are so overpriced. Because people get on, they don't understand that this Intel chip is the same thing that Intel uses on their servers from back in 2013. Is the same thing that they'll use on the Mac. There's no difference. So you can pick this up a lot cheaper than you can in one of the sets that they'll have on there. So, all right, well, let's kind of get started here. Let's bring this back over. And does anyone have any questions? I know I've kind of rambled a little bit, and something else I got. I'm just going to jump off topic here. I've got a camera that will attach to my head that allows me to see straight in front of me. I'm going to use that on some of these videos, so it'll be a lot more interesting than just seeing this on the side camera that we have over here or the overhead camera. So that'll be cool. I'm not going to do it on this one because this is a test. This whole video is a big test, and we'll see how it goes. We've already had a lot of malfunctions and other issues come up, but Anyway, one thing I'd like to do right now, if we could get that front camera right there zoomed in a little bit on this. So let's see. We don't have to turn it on or anything, so. All right, there we go. Look at that, awesome. All right, work in progress. That's how this stuff is. All right, starting out on this, if I leave a step out, please let me know, because I have never done a tutorial video on actually taking one apart. I'll just take it apart and that's kind of it. So first thing we want to do is we need to remove the top. Let's first fix the graphics card. That would be our easiest way to do this. In order to do the processor, we're going to have to take the whole thing apart, but let's first do the graphics card. In order to remove this graphics card here from this slot, we'll need to remove the top fan enclosure along with the oh, I got it the wrong way here. So we will need, I think that's a T10. We'll definitely need screwdrivers. Might need tweezers. We'll definitely need a little plastic piece. So let's go ahead and move this out of the way so that we don't have any more problems. Let's see, I got a question here. Do you plan on uploading more this year? Yeah, I actually do. I'm planning, I've got several videos shot, I've got to edit them. So I'm going to be uploading videos, but I also want to do live stream. I'm trying to think, and I can ask you guys this question since you're the first to watch this. Would you guys like to see 2 live streams a week or 1 live stream? I was thinking about doing them on Friday evening and possibly on Saturday. But what's your input? Just you can tell me really quick, and we can kind of go from there. Just to kind of see, I've got a anti-static pad here that's linked, and I'm also kind of grounded because I am barefooted, so that kind of is a plus. You want to make sure your hands are washed, of course. I mean, you could use gloves if you wanted to, but it's not really necessary. It's kind of up to you. So, and the tool kit here, I like this. I mean, this is a really cool setup. I like that it extends out like that. Makes it so easy to get into those really tight corners. And like I said, this is in the description below on Amazon. If you need a small toolkit for electronics, this one you can't beat the price. So what we need, I think we need a T10 torque. Let's see. I think that's what this is. Yep. I think we're probably going to need a 7 or an 8 too. As you can see, I'm kind of ad-libbing this as I'm going here. So the first thing we want to do is we want to remove these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 torque screws. If you have any RAM in here too, you'll need to remove that, but of course we don't have any of that, so we don't have to worry about that. If you have an SSD card, I would advise removing that also. But we don't have to. Hey, do you like my little lower third? I created it, and I was really surprised it even worked. So it comes up every time we switch cameras, so you'll get to see it a few times. But let's go ahead and remove that. We'll take our screwdriver here and remove these happy little screws. They do make a electric powered screwdriver. I haven't tried one of those yet, but it seems like that would be a fun thing to have. So do any of you guys own a Mac or ever messed with one? I know the ones before 2013 were a lot more designed to, well, they looked good, but they were more efficiently designed to be able to replace things. And the 2019 ones are too. They're just super expensive. Ah, you missed my ghost videos. Yeah, I know. A lot of people miss the ghost videos. You know the bad thing about some of the ghost videos, guys, is I did them, and YouTube went through this whole thing of where they didn't like any of those things, so they would demonetize them and everything else. So I guess I got toward the end of it with the 2012 stuff, and then I did some of the Sister Mary, and then when they started demonetizing everything, you know, it kind of wasn't that fun. I hate Apple products with a passion. I'm sorry. Apple. The thing that gets me about Apple is the cost. I like the operating system on their computers. Like I said, I'm more of a Linux guy. Well, at least I have become that over the last 4 years. Than anything. Windows is nothing but a bunch of spyware, almost, and it's really frustrating because finding stuff that's more privacy and self-oriented for the individual is really hard because of that. So it's tough, but I like the operating system on Mac, and I also use Adobe products, so using Adobe on Linux is just kind of out of the question. So you choose either you go with Apple or you go with Windows, and I'd rather go with Apple if I could. So, but anyway, I've got all the screws off, put them away in a safe location, because don't lose these, because they're pricey. So I'm going to pop this off very slowly, because there is a cord in here. All right, a cable. So what we're going to do is we're going to lift it up like this. If you put the graphics card center right in front of you, can you change it to this camera over in the side, please, so they can see this? Because this is kind of important. Thank you. Thank you. Awesome. When you take all the screws off, if you put it in front of you and you have this center right here between the two graphics cards, you can lift up like this and not damage anything, because there is a ribbon cable in the very back there that you do have to remove. And I think that's a T8, maybe? Let's see. It's either a T8 or a T7. It looks too big to be a T7. So let's go ahead and put a T8 on here and just lift it up very carefully. And I'm going to zoom in so you guys can see this, because it's really hard to see without it. That's the thing about live. Being live, we can do this. I want you guys to be able to see this, because without it, it makes it difficult. Here we go. That probably is gonna help. I'm gonna turn the camera this way. Let's see. You should be able to see right in there, and I'm gonna extend this out. I don't want to make too much. Not to sound. Yeah, I know. I mean, the thing is, this is an experiment. It's all an experiment. Everything I'm doing is an experiment. It's on YouTube. I'm also doing stuff on Amazon too. So I don't know whether or not what to make exactly on YouTube anymore. It's difficult because of the way they change things so much. And don't get me wrong, I love doing the ghost videos. I did what was it, a lot of video production videos and things like that. A lot of people liked them, and I did coins. So I kind of was all over the place. I have a multitude of hobbies, but anyway, we'll see how this goes. Like I said, I'm just doing a live stream event right now. So anyway, we'll go ahead and lift this up. And let's see, yes, it was a T8. So we will take these two screws off that hold this ribbon cable in place. And you don't have to worry about losing these screws because they are actually part, this is magnetic too. Let's see if I can get this to where you can kind of see a little bit. They are part of the bracket itself. We'll put the bracket down and you can see the ribbon in here, and we're going to use one of these little plastic wedges to kind of pop it because these things kind of are delicate. There we go. We got it. And before we take the whole thing off, there's a connection for the their wireless. We can probably pop it off like this. Maybe. There we go. Just don't want to damage it if we can keep from it. And now we have the whole assembly. So we will take this off and set it over to the side. Yeah, maybe a clean channel. Who knows? I don't know. See, the problem is I've got, 240,000 subscribers on this channel. So we'll see how things go. I'm going to back out on this. You get to see the back part of my studio. Look at that, all the trash and mess back there. Look at that. Okay, now since we have this out, I'm just going to take this whole thing apart because we're going to have to do this for the whole assembly anyway. So what we're going to do is we are going to all remove the bottom now. We have 1, 2, 3, I think the same amount of screws like we did on the top. Yes, we do. And that'll be a T10 also. Let's take this out. I haven't taken one of these apart in about a year. So let's move this upside down like this. Be very careful as you do it. The heat sink in the middle is pretty durable, and you can set a lot of stuff on it. So let's go ahead and we'll take these screws off. 1, 2, let's see, I got a question here. I don't remember how. Yeah, I have no idea. I didn't even know they were deleted. Like I said, YouTube started kind of doing weird stuff like that, and I'm not entirely sure why. They demonetized, I know, a couple of the videos, and then all of a sudden was it about 5 years ago, they said they wanted that type of content back. So I don't know. I have no idea why 27 was deleted. I'll have to go back and look. It may have been something to do with the music, or I was in a dispute with the guy that had the music on the content ID. But considering the fact that I paid for the rights for the music, sometimes weird stuff like that happens. I don't know. I'd have to, like I said. Yeah, probably. All right, since we got this top here, let's go ahead and just take the entire assembly off, and it'll show the interconnector board that hooks up to the main motherboard, or oh crap, I'm having a brain fart. Because these things are weird. There's not just a motherboard, there is a logic board, which is the interconnector board, and then there is the, I guess this is the main logic board, and then the graphics cards on the outside, along with an I/O, which has the power supply kind of tucked in the middle here. So they made this thing as compact as they possibly could. So I really want to do the graphics card first, because after doing my whole diagnostic, it basically was that it has to be the graphics card that's messed up on this. So in order to do that, what we can do is we can just flip this out. But as you can see, I'll zoom in right here, there is a broken part on this ribbon cable. It'll focus for me. And I want to replace the ribbon cable. So in order for me to do that, I am going to take off the main interconnector board on the top. In order to do that, we'll have to be kind of gentle. We don't want to touch any of these components or anything if we can keep from it. So let's see. I don't know if this is an 8 or a 7. It is an 8. So we have two T8 connectors here on the top. You could possibly pop that out, but I don't know, I'm always really reluctant to do that. Let's see, I'm going to zoom this back out so you can kind of see what I'm doing here. There we go. All right, we have one screw. And then the second screw. Let's see. Yeah, I actually, most of the music that I used was from smartsound.com. And they buy stuff from other creators, and the other creators sell it to everybody, everywhere. And so what ends up happening is those creators will get on YouTube and get Content ID, and then since they've sold their content, their music to all these other companies, you have problems, because then Content ID will pull your music saying that it goes to this creator. So then you have to go through the process of proving that you have the license with Smart Sound, who is a distributor of some of their music, and it takes a little bit of time, but that I experienced quite a bit. And more than likely, even with this live stream, with the music that I used in the beginning for the 15 minutes, it'll probably do that too. So I'll get a Content ID notification and have to go through the whole process. So whenever I do stuff now, I just make sure I know the song, list it, and then I can just send it over so I can get a release. But that always sucks, because that's after the video has already been released, and normally most of your views that come from videos happen within the first, 24 to 48 hours. So you'll lose those viewership and some of the promotion because of that. That was one thing that kind of sucked. All right, so in order to get this interconnector board out, what we have to do is we need to remove our connectors here. So I'm going to take the whole board off. And how we do this is we'll kind of push on this a little bit. I don't want to put too much. I always hate doing this. I'm going to have to turn it this way. Sorry, guys. Thought you'd be able to see it a little bit more. don't want to put a lot of pressure on this if I can keep from it. I got to get that edge. There we go. Got that one. So that one is off. And let's turn it over to the board that is the problem with the SSD card, which that's always interesting too, because Mac loves to have their own proprietary everything. So for the longest time, the only SSD little cards you could use on this were Mac cards. And then they finally upgraded the firmware to where you could use other Macintosh cards. And now you can actually use some of the M.2 cards, which I have an adapter that we're going to use on this one to get it up, and I get it up and running. And I have a link to that on the description too, so you guys can take a look at. Since this is broken, I'm not too upset if I do something to it. Future content that I have planned. Well, on this, right now on YouTube, I'll do some of the influencer stuff. I may do other technology. I've got, like I said, I've got several videos. A lot of those are there's not many Mac. There's not much Mac stuff. There's a lot of Linux-oriented stuff, and that's kind of probably where I'm going to head for the time being. So we'll see. A lot of people are wanting the Ghost stuff, so I might revisit that. Now, underneath this interconnector board, it is connected into the main motherboard. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to take it out. Now the problem here is you got to be really careful. The best way that you can get these out without breaking the board, because you don't want to do that, is just kind of shuffle it back and forth until the whole thing comes out. So just be very careful as you do this, and it'll come out of the slot. So there we go. Oh, I forgot about the one in the back. This is the I/O board. So what we'll need to do now, since we've got it pulled out of the main board there, is we're going to remove the, well, you know what? We're going to have to remove it anyway when we do the CPU upgrade. So let's just take our pull over this way so I can see what I'm doing. Careful. There we go. So we get one side, we get the other. And now we have our connector board out. There you go. I don't know if you guys can see that. It's kind of pretty. And we are going to replace this one right here. So let's set it down. Yeah, maybe another Ghost series. We'll see. I can tell you just from the way the Ghost made money off the ad revenue. It didn't make a lot of money other ways. Hey, Googie. It's good to see you too. Thank you. One thing that I can tell you, other videos, you know, when I did the video production stuff all the way to the coin stuff, I got a lot of independent jobs just because of that. So we'll just see how these things go. Right now I'm just doing things I want to do. So I'm going to pull this camera out so that you can kind of see what I'm working on here. There we go. I may need to bring this down. There we go, like that. And this is one video, the live stream stuff. I've actually been trying to do a live stream video now for, it's got to be almost 6 months. It's been really hard because I do work full time too. I mean, I don't do YouTube all the time or anything like that. That's not what I'm doing. But I do work full time, and it can be difficult. And then I was trying to get this whole thing set up, and we had all those problems starting out, of course. But that's the way things work. It always starts out problematic, and then things start to work. So I'm going to go ahead and take this off. I may be able to do this by hand rather than popping it. There we go. And you can see right there, when I go to the camera up top, you can see where it broke. And I was able to pick up another one. So we're just going to replace this connector. So let's see. Let me just make sure nothing is different on these. I highly doubt anything is, but oh, you can see too where this one got crushed right there. Wow. Let me check out the board. That was something I did not notice when I did the exam when I first got this computer. It looks like the board's okay. That's good. The person that I bought this from, they weren't getting any power on this. They couldn't figure out why. The actual I/O was not connected when I took it apart. So that was rather interesting. Anyway, here we go. Let's put this on like so. And I'm not going to force it because I just got this on there. So I'm going to pick it up like this and then pop it back in. And there we go. It has a little dust on it. I don't know if I have any air left or not. Let me dust this a little bit. Have you guys bought air lately? You know, this stuff is a small fortune now. It's almost like gold. I couldn't believe I picked up a 3-pack and it was almost $30-something. All right. Pull this over here. I'm just going to set this to the side because since we are doing the upgrade to the processor, there's no need to really put that back on once I get the graphics card changed out. Now the graphics card is relatively easy. It's just a couple of bolts down here. Screws down here. I think these are 10s, or is that an 8? No, it's an 8. Okay. So we'll remove these, and we want to be very careful, especially when we're putting it back on, not to over tighten these, because the way these connections are, it's really a slick design and how they do things. So we'll remove this, then we'll need to remove these bolts that hold the graphics card to the heatsink. So let's go ahead and we'll get these two off first. I can feel it. Hopefully there aren't going to be any surprises because I have not taken this graphics card off yet. I want to say, I think those are 10s. Yes, they are. So you'll need a T10 torque head for the brace for the card. So let's go ahead and take that off. And when you put this back on, you'll want to do it in a pattern too. So what do you guys think? Do you think Friday evening or Saturday, like we're doing right now, kind of live stream? I may just start off once a week just to kind of see how things are. I could do a series of questions, since a lot of you guys in here are also here for the ghost stuff. We could talk about horror, ghost, and other things. We don't really. It was a show that I did, but I like talking also about paranormal events, whether they're real or not, elsewhere. So ghost stories abroad and local and everything like that is kind of fascinating, you know. All right, so we've taken off the bracket, so we're going to put the bracket and the 4 screws that came with the bracket over to the side so that we don't lose them. There are little, I like the flat mats, but there are mats that have little areas to place screws and stuff. They're on Amazon too. I haven't really used any of those, but they do work well. They're mostly for cell phones. I like the bigger things. So yeah, you'll probably see me here with a server next time. But anyway, now since we've got everything off, everything should be disconnected. The only thing that is holding this thing on is some paste. So let's see if we can pop it off of the heatsink. Very gentle, even though we didn't know this card is crap. And there we go. These were made by AMD. They're D500s. So these things, I could only imagine if you took this into a Mac shop and took it to the, what's that thing in the back that they have? A Genius Bar or whatever it is. How much one of these would cost. They go, yeah, the graphics card, yeah, it's the graphics card's only like $4,000. So anyway, we know this one's crap. I'm just going to set it to the side and I'll deal with it later. And we're going to have to do a little cleanup. We want our little thermal pads to stay on here, and we do want to get that thermal paste off. So bear with me 1 second. I'm going to go grab something to wipe this off with, because I did not bring anything here. Yeah, no, it's a good bit of thermal paste. Yeah, they've got, this whole thing is like a major heat sink. One of them I took off one time. I couldn't get the whole card off, and it started taking off this board. This piece of metal actually has thermal pad behind it for the heatsink, because this heatsink is huge. I don't know if you can see that, but it's like a triangle-shaped giant heatsink for the entire computer. It's an interesting design, but I think they kind of built themselves into thermal wasteland, because if you put anything underneath it, you'll have all kinds of issues with it overheating. And I know these models had some overheating issues, but not that much. I've never had any overheating issues with it. And the fan runs okay. I mean, it doesn't run really high. I may pull this little pad off for a second so I can get in here and get this. I'm going to get all this stuff off. Hey, Yummy Freak. How you doing? It's good to see you too. Ah, you knew me back in my chroma key days. Oh, wow. Tube tape and all those guys? Yeah, I hear you. That was a long time ago. I had hair back then. All right, let's we'll wipe that off, and you can use a little bit of isopropyl alcohol or ethanol alcohol, whichever one works best for you, to remove the rest of the paste. We're just going to make sure we get it all off before I put this other card back on. I mean, even though this isn't a very old unit, the paste seemed like it was in pretty good shape. I just want a really good good surface connection. There we go. Look at that. Dry up a little bit here. All right, we're just going to let it dry for a second. I'm going to put this thermal pad back on right there like that. Yeah. Readjust the camera a little bit as I kick the isopropyl alcohol across the room. There we go. See a little bit better. There's subtle differences from isopropyl alcohol to ethanol alcohol on cleaning. I've found that isopropyl alcohol seems to work best on computers, but I can use ethanol on other things and it works really good. You can also drink it and it works. No, I'm just kidding. Not the kind you're using for this. The other kind is a lot better. All right. We're just going to let it dry for a second. And here is our replacement. It's already been cleaned up a little bit. Oh, let me flip this. So we're good to go. What we're going to do is I'm just going to do a little small worm bead across the processor, and then we'll put it back on. But I want to make sure that it's thoroughly dry from the isopropyl before I do. So we're going to wait a minute. I'm going to use a little bit of air here too to clean this up, just to make sure we don't have any dust on it. I mean, if we're taking it apart, we might as well make it look clean when we put it back together. It's a very interesting design. They really did go with almost like they were trying to build a Porsche of a computer here. Because I mean, it's, when you look at it, it's just kind of fascinating. Because Apple always tries to make things look aesthetically pleasing and also performance. I'm more of a performance over aesthetically pleasing. Like you just give me a box with a computer with the motherboard and the computer and the graphics card and a good processor and everything. And I don't even need any flashy lights for gaming, and I'm good. But they really go all out on Mac, and I don't know if that's one reason why these things cost so much. These things retailed. This thing retailed for like $5 to $7 grand back in. Even in 2018. And what we're going to do to it is the price of the 2018 model, because we're putting the, what is this, 2697 V2 chip, which is the highest chip that you can place in here, this $30 chip. So it's a, and just think, they were still selling this model in 2018. It's kind of fascinating. But 2019 models are kind of through the roof. I mean, I think you can't find a Mac 2019, and the processor is kind of dated in that one too, for under like 5 to 10 grand. I saw one, someone on eBay was wanting almost $20,000 for it. It's like, geez, I could build a Hackintosh for a lot less than that. All right, I think it's dry now, so let's go ahead and take some of our thermal paste. I'll try to do this. And while we've got it open, just want to make sure this is for the power. So we just want to make sure everything is okay, nothing is screwed up. All right, so we've got this, it's ready to go. Let me do a little bit of cleaning on this. Not much. It's not really dirty, but and I have been known to use a lot of thermal paste. So, and I hate this thing. I always hate these things. Let's see if I can do this without making a mess. There we go. Trying to make my little worm. There we go. Should have gone down a little further. I don't really wipe it or anything. I just put it on and smash it on. So, let's see, we got some more questions. A horror series out of tech. That would be interesting, wouldn't it? Yeah, that is interesting. Well, you know, one thing I have seen on YouTube are the guys that tell some like the creepypasta tales and stuff like that. They do relatively well. So it's pretty fascinating because YouTube has kind of gone back on the horror stuff from what they did when I was doing it. And the fascinating thing is, so many people thought it was real. I mean, the horror series has been on so many different shows on TV. It's been unreal, where it's been like, is it a real footage and stuff like that. And I tell everyone that would contact me it wasn't real, of course, it's part of a found footage show. But I know in Japan alone, it has been on at least 9 to 10 different shows. So it's pretty fascinating. All right, now we want to put this on here. This is the tough part, and hopefully I can match it up. I don't want to slide it. I may have to turn it. I'm going to have to turn it, guys. Normally I would do this so you can see exactly what I'm doing, but I'm going to have to turn it toward me so I see what I am doing. Otherwise I'm going to smear it. There we go. Okay, now I'm going to hold this. At least when I can put the bracket back on it. Now I'm going to do the power first, because at least I'll get some stability. Because if I let go of this, I think it's going to fall off. Well. We will try it anyway. Be really careful here and make sure I don't get it off of that support mechanism. Let's get it started so it doesn't shift. And the best thing to do on this when you're doing, you're putting the bracket back on is use the star pattern. We're going to kind of get it started on each corner first. There we go. All right, let's get this thing started up here. Yeah. Who was that? Goes caught on tape while fixing old Mac. Yeah, there you go. I like that. All right, so we got that started good. Okay, now we're going to, I'm going to turn it so you can see it a little bit better. I'm going to do a star pattern to do this. So. Ooh, don't want to hit that board. I have screwed up boards before by doing that. I think the guy that had this before me knew it was a graphics card, because he had started to remove these, and 2 of the screws were gone, so I had to actually buy 2 of them, but I think he knew, because I thought it was just a power thing. So what I did is I took it apart just to see. I thought it may be the power supply. So I took it apart. Which one was I on? Okay. Anyway, we're just going to tighten them down now.
I took it apart just to see if it's the power supply, and as that cable was off, so I put the cable back on, I cleaned up everything, then I put it back together, and I tried to boot it, and everything booted, and it looked like it was okay, and then I put an SSD card in it, and it just started going crazy. So that kind of told me it was a graphics card, because I couldn't get anything. I think what may have happened, the M.2 cards pull out and come out. These don't. They slide directly in, and sometimes people would pull them out not realizing what they were doing and break this, and that may have been what happened on that other card. And it was interesting. All right, so this is snug. We don't want to over tighten it. Now we need to do the power here on the bottom. We'll switch back to our T8. So we'll just start that one, and then we'll move to the next one. And we don't want to over tighten these either. They sometimes have a tendency of popping back, and I've had to go underneath and pull them toward the board, but I think we're not going to have that problem with these. Yeah, look at that. That's awesome. Because this is the power connection here on the bottom. Okay, awesome. So we actually replaced the graphics card. Now what we would do is we would put the interconnector board back on, interconnection board back on, and we'd be done with that. But since we're replacing the CPU, we might as well leave it like this, because we'd have to take it apart anyway. So let's flip this upside down and get back to our power supply, because there are 2 screws we're going to have to remove on it. And you can teeter it on this heat sink, which is nice, because this thing is, it's like handling something that you're so scared you're going to touch the wrong thing and break it. So it kind of can be a pain. Now we have 2 screws. There's one right there, and there is one on the other side. It's a plastic shroud that covers up the power supply, because we're going to have to remove the power supply and the I/O board in order to get to the processor. So let's go ahead and remove this, and let's push this back underneath there. Like that. All right, there we go. Yeah, I think I pulled it out again. All right. And I want to say it's a T. Maybe it's a 7. Let's see. If it's not, it's a 5, and I'm going to have to, yeah, it is, it's a 5. All right, let's go back into our handy dandy tools, and let's pull out our T5. These sets are great. I highly recommend them. So go over and check it out in my links. If you want a set for any kind of computer repair or anything, it's a great set. Yeah, Sister Mary was, I was trying to get a Kickstarter going so I could get some funding for it, because the biggest problem that I've had with all the horror stuff is funding wise. So we've had to do everything on a shoestring to non-existent budget, and the only thing that would help it would be the story. So I was trying to get money in order to do that, but that was unsuccessful. So it just kind of stopped. And like I said, that was when they were starting to go in and give you problems with monetization on horror stuff. So, but it was an interesting concept. All right, now since we've got both of those screws off, what we want to do is we want to remove the plastic shroud. You can probably see better from the top camera. So let's do that. I think I can do it with my fingers. Let's see. If you can't do it with your fingers, you can use a tweezer, and it'll expose the power connections for the power supply itself. So we're going to put this over here to the side, and we want to make sure not to lose these itty bitty tiny screws, because that would be awful. All right, now we have to remove the power supply and the I/O board from the actual main logic board or motherboard or whatever you want to call it. So there are right there and right there. So I think that looks like it's a T10. Let's see, maybe a T8. Oh, my head is in the way. My head was in the way. Yeah, it's a T8. So let's go with a T8. And let me look at this. I'm trying to remember on this. I think we're going to end up having to remove those 4. All right, so let's remove these 4. Let's wait on these and go ahead and get these 2, because that's the power supply. Oops. Be very careful. Don't do what I just did. Thank goodness this is magnetic. You do not want to drop any of these down in here, because it can be a pain in the butt to get them out. And you might want to support this with your hand. I'm gonna loosen them and then take them, because I don't want to put that much strain on it. Oops, that one came out too much. Yeah, we're just gonna take them all out. Just be very careful. And now we can just take out the I/O and the power supply. And I'll show this to you really quick. We'll set this over to the side here. But this is the I/O board, and this is the power supply itself for the Mac. So it's kind of interesting. You really don't want to drop anything down in there. Paranormal besides the one in the hotel. Oh yeah, that was a long time ago. No, I haven't. I mean, I haven't really done anything more. I mean, that was back in, oh geez, I was like in 2003 or 2002. That was a long time ago. But no, I haven't done any real, ghost stuff besides that from a long time ago. So the stories more or less fascinate me now than anything else. I've thought about going into a total breakdown of taking this off and showing you the I/O board, but there's no need to, since we're just replacing the processor. So I'm going to set this over here and get it out of the way, because our I/O board seems to work on that without issues. And now comes the really fun part. Let me see if I can pick this up and move it back over here. We want to be very careful not to hit that. That would be awful. We need to remove the entire, as you can see, this is kind of weird. Let's go over this. Mac decided to put the RAM kind of on the side with these mechanisms that fold out like that. Well, let's go ahead and just pop them out. We should have them popped out anyway, just so there's not any, so it gives us more room. But they did that. It's kind of odd, but it's a uniqueness in itself. But what we want to do is we need to remove this entire board from the heatsink, and we do that by removing, I think it's those, no, that's part of the board. It's these screws right here. So we will remove those. Those are T10s. Let me put these over here with the I/O board. So let's put our torque 10 back in and go ahead and start removing these. Let's just be careful. They're normally on there pretty tight. I'm going to extend this out a little bit. I don't like reaching in there that deep. And I'm going to take them off slowly. Wow, we've been live streaming for a while. It says 1 hour and 32 minutes. Look at that. I knew this was going to take a while, but I mean, it's fun. I get to talk with you guys, get to see what you're saying, and I also get to work on this guy. All right, we're almost there. Boy, it's been a long time since I've done this. We'll take them off kind of in a star pattern just to reduce the pressure on the processor. It's not like we're going to use this processor again. So, ooh, shoot. That would suck. Hopefully I didn't damage anything. Old computers. I like the older technology because, I mean, it's pretty fast unless you're wanting the best of the best. But it's a lot more reasonably priced, especially if you're getting it from eBay or something like that. Like I think I got 7 servers from eBay, and I'm not using them all, but I'm using about 3 of them, and it's pretty great. I can do a lot of things with it. Get to use a lot of different software. Get to mess around with them. There's one of them I want to take down. I gotta change out some stuff. Maybe I'll do that on a live stream too. Let's see. Okay, I think everything. I think it's not connected anymore. Let me just make sure that I didn't miss anything. Let's see. Or did I take out the wrong screws? I may have taken out the wrong screws. Let's see, I'm going to try to pop it. If it doesn't really move. Oh, there we go. There we go. Look at that. I guess I'm going to have to remove those screws too. I didn't think about that. So there are 2 more screws we need to take out that I missed. So those were 8s. I have to be careful and hold this. Yeah, well, you know, some of the stuff with the viewers, it's been how long since I've done a video? It's been a very long time. So you have a lot of people that'll subscribe and then not watch. And then some of the people that were subscribing, I did a contest. This was years ago. And we had people subscribing on that, but then they stopped. So I don't know. It's kind of it is kind of sad, but you know it is also the fact too that you know I was expecting 2, like 1 or 2 viewers, and that was it. But all right, here we go. We got that off, and we have a very messy processor that we're going to have to clean up. Hopefully. You know, this one won't be that bad. So what we're going to do is we're going to set this face down. I want to set it face down on a towel because I don't want to get the paste all over my mat if I can keep from it. And while we do that, we need to clean off our heatsink. So yeah, now I have 3 viewers. So everyone's leaving me. But like I said, I wasn't expecting that much. This was an experiment. We started out with 8. I think a lot of people thought we were going to be doing some of the ghost stuff, so we do have people like that on here. And it is a long video. It's like an hour and 37 minutes of taking apart a computer. So what we want to do is we want to remove all of the thermal paste. I'm going to try to take some of it, this gunky stuff off. All right, let me put this down over here and get it out of the way. And then we'll take some happy little alcohol and use that to get the rest of the thermal paste off. For my next video, we're going to watch paint dry. All right, there we go. While this is actually drying, let's kind of set it to the side so we can get to the main motherboard here and remove the processor. Wow, there's stuff all over the mat here. Let's get this off. Now we remove this by removing the 4 screws that we left behind. Those are T10s. Oops. And let's drop our torque 10 on the bottom and knock over everything else on the bottom. We will remove this. I'm going to try and zoom in a little bit on this so you guys can see. I'll pull it up like this too. There we go. Well, you know, one thing about this live stream, guys, I think I've got most of the bugs worked out. That's what I was really worried about with the bugs, because there's always something that goes wrong, especially if you're trying something new for the first time. So we're going to be kind of gentle with this. If you guys like ghosts, do you like zombie stuff too? Zombie film, zombie series? Because I just started watching The Last of Us, and I really liked it. I thought they did a good job. Well, yeah, more scary videos. This one should be scary just by itself. It's an hour and 30 minutes of taking apart a small computer. Let's see. Well, we only have 2 people in here right now. Everybody else has left. So here we are. If you guys have any questions, feel free to ask. It might be delayed a little bit. There is a latency lag of about, I think I counted it. Maybe about 16 seconds. Let's see. Yep. Hey, Master TV. How you doing? Your 14th anniversary of the first episode of The Haunting is coming up on October 29th. Yeah, maybe. I mean, everybody's wanting me to. I see. I've got to come up with a good story. That's the thing. It's not only the ghost itself. It's having a really good story to go along with the ghost. Because you can have the best effects in the entire world, but if you don't have a good story, it's not gonna last. So yeah, I'll have to think about it. Yeah. Oh, da, da, da. Hey. All right, let's see. By the way. The delay can be switched off. Really? Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm not too familiar with OBS. This is like one of my first ventures into it. So the audio is echoey. Okay. Really? Oof. Let's see. Let me get this off, and I'll go over here and see what's going on with it. Just want to be careful with this processor and also this board. I don't want to break anything once I get these screws out. So how bad is the echo? Because if there's an echo, that means there's two different things going on. I need to figure out which one it is. So let's see. I've almost got this. There's second screw, third screw. All right, let me go over here and see if I can see what I can do with the echo. See what's going on. You take your bracket and you just pop it off like this, and I'll show you how to take off the rest here in a second. Let me see what I can do about this. This echo. Oh, the creepy doll. The creepy doll was made. It's actually a normal doll, and it was painted to look really creepy. But here's the funny thing, that I actually have a doll that is really, really creepy. That was someone's doll, and I can't get a hold of it because it's a relative's. But maybe let's try this. Let's see what happens. Okay. Did the echo go away now? Well, let's see. If you guys cannot hear me, say something. Because I'm trying to figure out, because I've got two. I can't put on headphones because I know I'll get a feedback echo in that. So I'm trying to do this. I'm gonna type this. I'll do it from the terminal. Did the go away? Okay, so the echo's gone. All right, good. All right, I know what it was then, and I will fix that. But there shouldn't be an echo on that, because that's just okay. Anyway, yep. All right, I'm looking for this delay that you're talking about. Stream delay enabled. No, I do not have it enabled. Huh. I don't know. Maybe it's just a latency lag. All right, cool. All right, now the echo is gone, so we should be good. Now I know what setting to put that under. Now I got to figure out that other thing. But anyway, let's get back to this. Yeah, I know there's a delay. There's definitely a delay. The delay is not, if you go into advanced settings, I do not have the delay clicked. So it's not that. I think it's probably just a latency delay. All right, good. No echo, a little bit of latency. It's not that bad. All right. Now what we want to do is we need to remove this bracket on the back. You can normally do it via your finger like this. And you can see those two go into the holes there. We'll just set that there. And now we'll lift up on the actual board, and our processor should be sitting right there. There we go. So there is our board. It's kind of amazing. It's amazing how much these things cost. So what we're going to do, we're going to flip it over like this and just kind of set it to the side. And let's clean up this bracket before we put our new processor in. So, oof. I had forgotten what processor this is. Maybe the 1620. No, let's see. Let's wipe it off. No, it's a 1650 V2. So it's the version 2 of that. Just imagine when these processors came out, how much they cost. Technology is amazing at how much things start out as and then they end up as. I'm gonna clean this off a little bit, but not much, because I'm not gonna, I don't think I'm ever gonna use this again. I've got a server that this will fit in, but I doubt I'll ever use it. So, because I've already got processors that are faster than this in there. So I'm gonna set this over there, get it out of the way. Okay, now let's mess with this camera a little bit. We're gonna put our board right there in the middle so you can see it. And we have our other processor. This is the 2697 V2. And I think it goes upside down like this. Yep. So we'll need to just be careful. What you can do is you can put it in this bracket and set it the other way. And I mean, it'll keep you, the pins are very delicate, I know, but I'm not gonna do that. I'm just gonna be very, very gentle and just lay it down like so. And I'm going to clean this off. We've got some paste all over it. I think I'm going to need another. Whew. I hate this paste. It's just, it gets it on everything. Have any of you guys ever tried liquid metal, that material? I've never done it. I've just always used thermal paste. But I know some of the extreme gamers will use it, trying to cool down temperatures. Sister Mary, I'm trying to remember why we ended that. I think it was because the the mirror really wasn't all that good, and I was having writer's block, and I couldn't come up with a good concept, so I just kind of stopped it. And it almost seemed like we were just doing some of the same stuff we were doing with the haunting, and I just didn't want to. I don't want to do the same thing over and over. And even with Sister Mary, it almost seemed like we were doing some of the same stuff over and over. Sister Mary was such a great series. It's really hard to live up to it. Let's put this back like this. All right, now we are going to kind of flip this upside down again. Since we don't have any paste on it, this is going to be the hard part. This is always the hard part. So if you've got let me see if I can find it, a piece of paper, it normally helps with this. I didn't anticipate this part. Some elevator music in the background. Need a cardboard piece. Let's see what I got over here, guys. Yeah, we'll try this and see how it works. This may not work at all. I'm gonna have to take a little sip of water here. Starting to lose my voice. An audiobook. I just thought you could make it into like a creepypasta thing. That would be pretty interesting. Yeah, I don't think this is gonna work. But we shall try. We shall try. If you put it on the edge like this. Nope, it fell out. That's not gonna work. I'm gonna have to find a piece of cardboard to make sure that this does not fall out. And, a flat piece of cardboard. You know, I have to have one around here somewhere. I have so much junk in this studio, you would think. Let's see. Maybe no, that's not thick enough. Here, this will work. I found a file folder. This should do what I need it to. Okay, probably a little bit smaller, but hey, when this is what you have to work with. If you use this and flip it upside down like this, you can just shove it over like so, and it's flat. And that's what we want. There we go. Let's make sure things are lined up. We'll take our bracket. Oops, crap. Bracket, and hopefully, yeah, it'll go in. Good. So we are in the right positioning. And set this like this. Go ahead and take our 4 bolts that we took out, and we are going to place them back in here. Let's see if there are any more questions. Ah, okay. And you ended up continue the random hauntings. Yeah, motivation is the big part. I mean, a story can only go for so long before it has to end. I mean, it can't go on forever. All right, let's start this other one. Over on this side, maybe, come on, work with me. I gotta pull up pressure on it. There we go. Yeah, you may have to do a little bit of pressure on these. All right, let's do the other one. You know, some of the ghost stuff, just in general, I mean, what do you guys think about a show that deals with real haunted places and things like that? And if we kind of talked about or stories, because you know, every place, depending on where you live, okay. Hey, gaming channel, how you doing? How you doing? That's good. Yeah, it's the guy. I'm the guy that did the ghost stuff. I'm taking apart a computer right now. I actually taking it apart and putting back together a Mac Pro and repairing it. So, but if we did, what was I talking about? Did videos and ghosts and talked about stories from different locations. I mean, sometimes the best stories are the ones that actually happened. All right, we're going to do a star pattern on this. And hopefully I don't lose my grip. I'll be very careful. I don't want to pull on the RAM. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah. Okay. All right. Awesome. I have no idea. I'd had a gaming channel. I'd have to go back and look. I mean, that was such a long time ago. Most of the music that I used for that series came from Smart Sound, and it was part of their Tales of Horror cinematic collection. But it's got to be one of the songs on that, because that was the bread and butter of it. All right, this is. I'm going to have to hold this bracket. Let's see, you guys have written some other stuff here since I've worked on this. Thanks for the way. Yeah, maybe there too. Yeah, Richard Band. You're right. You're definitely right. That's where the majority of it was, because he's got a horror soundtrack. He's got action. I think he's got a thriller. He's got a lot of different ones, and the Smart Sound had the license on most of them too. Yeah, I'm gonna have to get my other screwdriver for this, because this is always tough. can just, yeah, get it going good. Yeah, I think I may have. Yeah, I hate these aluminum things. Oh. There. Let's see. Yeah, actually, pretty soon. Right now, I'm just testing out this whole live stream thing. It was it's kind of a work in progress. I knew everything. Basically, Murphy's Law applied to it today. So I've got several videos shot. I just have to put them online. And my plan too is I'm also going to do some Amazon Prime stuff. So I've got future content. It's coming. It's coming. Let's see. Yeah. I don't know if I cross-threaded this or not. It's really hard to tell. I think it's down though, where it's not going to be an issue. Yeah, I don't think I did. But that is, it is locked down now. I do want to use some air to try and move anything around it. So let's do that really quick. Alrighty, let's bring this up and let's remove that file folder. There we go, we got our processor in place. It is ready. Oh yeah, I did cross-thread that one. I can tell. I mean, it's in there. And I guess it's okay. But boy, would that be a surprise. Oh well, it'll hold the processor in and it's not going anywhere, so we should be okay. Like I said, this is a low budget rebuild. I'm thinking about using this for OBS. Right now I've got OBS on an HP 640, an older HP 640, which seems to be working. I'm reading your stuff, gaming channel. It'll probably be here. I mean, if you go back and look at my old stuff, I went from video production to coins to all kinds of other things to ghosts. So I've been kind of all over the place with my my content. All right, so now since we have this done, we need to go ahead and place the board back onto the heatsink. And before we do that though, we want to put some paste on it. So our heatsink should be dry, we should be good to go. And I'm just gonna do the squiggly across. I'm not gonna shave it or anything. That should get me what I need. Crap, this stuff is major thick. It's thicker than the other stuff I used to use. So I'm gonna move that back over here so it's more centered. All right, well now for the fun part. We have to put this back on and it has to hold. I don't understand what you're saying, gaming channel. Rate My Stuff. Is that another one of your YouTube channels? Can you explain what you mean by that? I'm a little confused. Is there a channel called Rate My Stuff? Because that's not me if there is. All right. Let's go ahead and pick this up, and we are going to be as careful as we can. And I'm gonna have to turn it toward me, otherwise I'm gonna mess this up. Oh, previous move. Yeah, it's probably yeah, I don't know. I had to re-elaborate because I'm confused. Delays on this stuff always suck. I'm gonna see if I can't figure out what's going on with it, because it doesn't seem to be a software issue, and I've got a pretty fast internet connection, so all right, there we go. You can tilt it like this and put it on the edge to do this reconnection. So let's see, I need to move it up a little bit. I don't want to smear it too much. And we're gonna hold it there. Oh. My hands are sweating from this. It's never a good sign. Okay, it looks like we got it going. That's good. And I'll do this one over here since I'm holding it. Okay, I'm reading your statement now. No, it'll probably be on this channel. I've got other YouTube channels, but not that many of them. Okay, since I started this now and my hands have got it taken care of, we're gonna prop it back like that. And now we're going to do a little bit of a star pattern to keep the pressure off of the processor. So let's go 1, 2, and we don't want to over tighten these, which is kind of hard to do with this type of screwdriver. Let's just kind of go through here and make sure everything is pretty firm. There we go. All right, we want to take and put our T8 back on here. And let's go ahead and put our screws in the top for the power supply on the side. There we go. 1. And 2. Let's make sure that's in there good. There we go. All right, we want to check our little connectors here, just to make sure there's no gunk on them or anything, because these are live, which is always kind of scary, because they go straight to the power supply. They're pretty clean as is. I don't think we're going to have any issues with them, so that's good. So now we are going to, hey Jack, how's it going? Now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and put our power supply and the I/O back on. Everything is looking good. We've got our board back on. It's connected. Everything's connected. We've got our new processor in here. We are set to start reassembling this. So go ahead and take this, and you want to make sure that this area is facing up, because we need to connect it to these that you can see from the top camera. So let's see, where did I put the screws for it? Oh, way over here. Let me go and grab these. These are T8s. So I'm going to set this down. I'm going to go ahead and put a T8 on the end of this. The fun thing about this tool set is everything is magnetic. So we're not going to tighten them all yet, but we want to put them loosely on here. Be very careful and don't drop them down in the power supply.
Here we go, and use our other hand to support the power supply and also the I/O board. We'll go ahead and tighten these up. Don't over tighten them. Make sure there's no debris, like I said, in here, because these are direct connections for the power. It's kind of an open area, which is always interesting to have on a computer, but they do that. So that should have been the top. So hopefully you guys saw that. We didn't switch cameras when we should have. I was thinking, yeah, I kind of, yep. I'm live streaming. I'm here, gaming channel. Yeah, I'm on YouTube occasionally, but I like I said, I just haven't been on here for a while. Let's make sure all of these are tightened up. And this live stream event is an experiment. You get to see what all is going to go wrong so you can fix it for the next one. And I'm glad I got that echo taken care of. I figured out what that was. And it shouldn't happen again. I'm going to do a mimic live stream and take some of you guys' comments, which I appreciate you giving me on here. And we'll make sure the next time's even better than the first. So, all right, since we have got that in there, we need to go ahead and cover up or put the shroud back on for these connectors, which is a little plastic thing that that Mac decided to put on here. And we just kind of put it on like this. There we go. I can never get it in there. We have these two tiny screws that are T5s. And we just put them on, and I think you guys can see this. There's a little hole right here. Just screw that first one in, and then let's turn it on the other side, like so. And there we go. We've got our shroud back on, so that is good. Now, let's go ahead and put the bottom plate back on, because we have installed our processor, we've installed our new graphics card, and now we get to put it all back together, and then I'll power it up and see if it works. I'm not gonna, I don't have the ability in this setup to see if everything's gonna work and see if I'm gonna have to do a firmware upgrade or not, but I'll show you some of the components I'm gonna use. That should take care of that. So what we want to do is we want to put this on. So let's turn it upside down. Let's bring this over here, and we don't need to turn it upside down. We can do it this way, can't we? Where's the, there it is. Where is, there it is. Right there. Okay, sorry. I'm having vision problems. I'm going to move this. I want to move this back here where you can see it in the middle as I put this on. Sorry, I'm moving things around and not paying attention to the camera. So you've got a little indentation here that needs to go on the what am I doing? All right, so we need to flip this upside down like this, and we need to put our interconnector board back on, and then we need to put that on. I am just not thinking. I think the lights are getting to me right now. So let's take our interconnector board, which we have right here, and we are going to snap this in place. You can do this with your hands. Be careful though. And then we want to make sure that it goes in the slot. Now this is the fun part, because sometimes you can have problems with this.
and it doesn't want to go in, the best thing to do is get on the pressure points on the side where the bolts are and rock it. And it'll snap in place, just like that. And now we take our two small little screws. I think these were T8s. Let's see. Yeah, they're T8s. And we will put them in the top right there. Move this over so you can see it. We'll be very careful, of course. So you'd be surprised if I posted a random ghost video. I did do one for, this is a long time ago. I want to say it was on April Fool's Day or St. Patrick's Day or something like that. All right. We want to make sure both of those are screwed in, not overly tight, but tight enough. And now let's go ahead and put the ribbon cable for both of the graphics cards on. And just press down and it should snap. Let's be careful with it. And turn this way and we'll do the other one. You don't want to bend any of the pins. There we go. Okay, now we take this. I don't know what I was thinking a minute ago. I think I need to eat. We take this and we just take the cable and kind of push it in so it sits underneath this. And we have a lip that is right here that goes into that. So just push it down and it should go in. So we have our board covered up. Let's go ahead and take our screws that we put to the side. There are 5 of them, and these are T10s. Yeah, October 2018. The last ghost video. And let's go ahead and screw these in. You don't want to screw them in fully because these things aren't perfect. So let's just kind of, I'll twist it as I'm putting the screws in so you can see it. Then I will tighten them. All right, 2 more to go and we're almost done. Yeah, I've noticed the majority of these things, the ones that I picked up that are broken or the person that has it just doesn't know how to reinstall the operating system. They're in pretty good shape. A couple of scratches and stuff like that on a few of them, but this one I'm really think I'm going to use for OBS, just as an editing. I like my HP. It's dual processors. It's pretty fast, power hungry like you wouldn't believe. But I mean, that was another problem we had. I had that hooked up and turned on the lights, and we had the breaker pop. So I had to figure out a way to make it work because I wasn't expecting that. I thought I had wired everything to where it could take a good amount of juice, but that HP, it just couldn't handle it. So, all right. And that was a fun one too. The 640. I got it on eBay as basically a still, and it does a good job. I've got Windows 10 and Linux on it also. Hey Glenn, how's it going? Yeah, live stream. Yeah, we're doing the live stream. That's kind of how we're starting this out. We're going to see how many things can go wrong in the live stream so that I can fix them for next time. I think I'm wanting to do a live stream every week, and I was asking some of the guys that are on here what they thought about, you know, Friday or Saturday. I don't think anyone has really said anything back yet, but I'm thinking Friday is a good day. Saturday, maybe a little bit earlier than now. I mean, we've been live streaming since, I think I was supposed to start at around 3 o'clock Central Time and 4 o'clock Eastern Time, but I was delayed because I had issues. That's kind of what happens with stuff. I knew Murphy's Law was going to apply. Okay, so we got the top on, all the bolts, all the screws are tightened up. So let's go ahead and flip it upside down like so. And now we need to put our fan back on. I am going to zoom in for this so you guys can see it, because once I put the shroud up, it's going to be really difficult to see. So there we go, look at that. What we need to do is we have to reconnect this ribbon cable and also our wireless. So let's do that right now. First, let's do the wireless. The wireless is pretty easy. It's like it is on a laptop. It just snaps in. So we can probably do that with our finger. There we go. It just went right in. And if I turn it this way, probably you can see it even better. And now the ribbon cable is a little bit more difficult. We have to put it right there. So let's bend the fan over. And I know this is almost impossible to see. I can't even see what I'm doing. I don't want to break this. There we go. It snapped in. Since we got it snapped in, we have a bracket, which is right here, that we are going to place on top of that to keep that ribbon cable from coming off. And that is a T8. So we'll have to switch here to a T8. I'll do it one-handed. And since we are dealing with a magnetic screwdriver and also a bracket that will not come off, this makes this a whole lot easier. So let's just slightly put it on. Let's do the other side. Hopefully you guys can see this. Thinking about adding one more camera to the setup here. We've got 3 right now for the live stream, and they seem to be working pretty well. The only issue I've had is audio. It's always been audio on everything. All right, we want to make sure that's tight. It's tight. This is supposed to stick to the top, but it doesn't. And we just let the fan back down, and it will most of the time seat back, but we have a little lip right here that's got to go in. So let's kind of finagle it and wiggle it, and there we go. It's back in place. No, there's actually no trivia that I think I covered basically everything I could on the Q&A from a long time ago, but no, I don't know of any trivia on the Ghost stuff at the moment. It was fun while it lasted. The biggest change in the paranormal stuff that occurred was when YouTube changed their algorithm. Because they changed their algorithm in 2011. They did a pretty dramatic change. I think it was the summer of 2011. So that caused a lot of changes in some of the Ghost stuff. And it was kind of things went downhill from that point, just in some of the viewership, because I had viewers like you wouldn't believe. Gaming videos, I don't know. I haven't done any yet. That would be something that might be fun to do. I want to build a gaming rig out of the 3D chip that Ryzen's coming out with next month. So that may be an option. I've heard some good things about it. It's either going to be that or the i9 13700KS. Those are, I guess, probably the two biggest chips from AMD and also Intel. So, but they're always at the moment, because next year there'll be a faster chip and it will cost even more. That's how it always works. So I kind of thought about building, whoa, that is definitely off. I don't know if you can see that, but there's some cross-threading going on in there. That was not me. I thought about building for the gaming rig, making it a Linux Steam gaming rig. I love Linux. It's probably one of the best operating systems, depending on the distribution you use, and of course it's all open source and free. Let's tighten each one of these up now. We've got them all in here. To me, it just smokes any other operating system because of its simplicity and the fact that things make sense. Sometimes they don't work, and sometimes you have problems with other companies that just don't want to support it, like Adobe. I wish Adobe would support one of their cloud service in Linux without using Vine. I know it worked on using Wine for a while, but I don't think it does anymore. So my only other option is Mac, because Windows just freaking drives me crazy. So I mean, I'm not totally dishing Windows. It's just Windows has gone in a direction with some of the way that they're spying on all their customers that I wish they wouldn't have, but anyway. Oh, the smooth transitions for the Ghost, it's magic. Yeah, 55 million on tape 1. All right, guys, well, we have reassembled everything. Everything, I'm going to just do a little once over, make sure I got everything. We've got our new graphics card in. We've got an upgraded processor to the highest processor you can possibly put in this 2013 for about, I think it was like $30 or so. Let me zoom out so you guys can see it better. There we go. Look at that. Looks like everything's good to go. What I'm going to do now is I'm just going to do a quick boot up just to see what it does once I check everything out. And then I think we'll be done. We need to put some RAM in it though. It's not going to go anywhere with RAM. And I forgot about the other things too I wanted to tell you about. So I have here some RAM. This is Apple RAM, so it's very, very special RAM. These are 4 gigs. I have more. So this should be a total of 16 gigs. Let's see. These units would actually take up to 128 gigs, which is pretty amazing. One of my units actually, I've got it up that high. So, and these are actually Apple RAM memory modules. So that means these were a small fortune when they first came out. So we're going to insert these so that we have some RAM in here. I'm going to always keep these. These are always good to have because you never know how much RAM you're going to end up with. We've got so much RAM. We got RAM coming out the yin yang. let's put these back over here on the work table. And to insert RAM into a Mac Pro, you first release it. You take the RAM module and then you slide it in ever so gently until you get frustrated with it because you can't see what you're doing. That's kind of how it always works. It really, crap. They really made. There we go. Now I can see what I'm doing. So you push it in, make sure it's in there. Get to the other side. We're gonna have a total of 4, so we don't have to make sure which slot we're putting it in is the correct slot or not. All right, let's do this one. That is definitely not in there correctly. And the last one over here. There we go. Let me just check it just to make sure. Yep, they're all in. Everything is in. Now, getting back to what I was talking about, how Mac did these with the SSD, there's a firmware upgrade for these because originally they wouldn't allow you to use any other SSD but theirs. So I guess people get upset, which is understandable. They finally did the firmware upgrade to allow other SSD cards rather than just theirs. So sometimes these models do not have that firmware upgrade, which can be annoying, and you can't, if you install one of the SSDs or one of these, which I'm about to show you here that turns into M.2, it will not work at all. So you need to upgrade the firmware. Now, if you have that problem, the best way to solve it is you go on eBay and buy one of the 128 gigs or the 256 gigs SSDs, which are like $30 from Mac. And a lot of the people that sell them on there will place you okay? Monterey or one of the other operating systems a little bit below Monterey, which I think it's Big Sur, and I can't remember below that. And that'll have the firmware, and it'll upgrade the firmware where you can use other SSDs or M.2s or something like that to make it more affordable on this. Another factor about this too that's really kind of annoying is they only have one, so you can't really expand into two. I mean, you could do, you know, what was it? A server or something like that, but there's no real expansion. But that's part of the design because the design is so slick, so there's really nothing you can do about that. So if you have problems after you do this, if you know someone that's got the operating system and can put it on an SSD that is a Mac, you can just do it that way, or you can go to eBay and just buy one with the operating system. So that's that's what I would do, and it's easier, and you could just deal with it a lot quicker. Now, this I've got on the list too. Converts the SSD into a very cheap M.2. This one I think is a gig, and I paid, what is it, probably maybe about 70-80 bucks for it. And if you try to do an SSD on this, on this type for a Mac, it's like 200-300 bucks for a gig. So but all you do is you just put this in there, like so, and then you slide it directly into it, and it will convert it for you. So it makes it a lot easier. Now the problem I've noticed with this model is you can't screw it in, so that may be an issue for some people, not for me so much. And you'll probably want to put a heatsink on it, of course. But anyway, that's just a workaround on the expense of the Mac SSD for the 2013 model. So I'm going to go ahead and take this out. Don't bend it out. Just take it straight from the top. All right. Well, we're done. I am going to put this back on, and I'm going to try to boot it up and see if it'll boot while I'm on the air with you guys. You just take this and you put it back on like this and slide it down. And then you lock it back in place, and you have your 1970s ashtray, or a trash can. Everybody likes to call it a trash can because it has that thing on the top. Let's see, I'll zoom out so you can see it. There we go. And that's where the fan is and everything. So let's plug this in and see what happens. Let me find a power cord for it. Here we are. And let's hope this doesn't pop a breaker. All right, we're gonna plug it in. If we can at least get it to come on, we know we've been a little bit successful. All right, I have an extension cord right here. I think it'll reach. Okay, yep. Well, we know the lights come on. That's good. Let's see if we get the... So we know we have power. I may end up having to plug it in order to get it to work. Oh, it's coming on right now. I feel the fan coming on. So we know we connected everything correctly. That's good. I'm going to put this thing through some more diagnostics just to make sure everything is okay with it. And I'll let you know in the next live stream how it turns out. I wish on this live stream I could show you the whole setup and hookup and stuff, but it's going to be kind of difficult to do that. But anyway, before I guess we end this, anybody got any questions or anything? I'll just wait right here, see what someone says. I know there's a lag, so I'll take a drink of water while we wait. You know, this has been fun, guys. I think this is going to be kind
kind of cool to do this over and over again. All right, well, okay guys, I don't see anybody saying anything. We maybe will, okay, can you make ghost videos sometime in the future? Maybe, William. We'll see how things go. Kind of go from that point, but yeah, it's been fun. It's been fun having you guys here. I don't have a question, but I'll say this. Oh, well, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Yeah, 2011, 2012, it was great. All right, guys. Well, thank you for being part of this live stream. If you want to, be sure and look out for me on Amazon. I am going to be on Amazon doing some product stuff as an influencer. And also be sure to check out the links I put in here for if you do want to do anything like this. The toolkit and some of the other stuff. And thanks for all the comments. And I think right now I'm probably going to try and do the live stream on Friday again, and we'll go from there and see how everything goes. But thanks a lot, guys. It's been really cool and great having you here, and I will see you next time on live stream with Mark Absalon. Yeah.